Want to know how I made $94,700 using Pinterest, but without being an influencer, showing my face, or even dancing on camera? In this video, I'm breaking down the exact steps I use to build a six-figure traffic machine with Pinterest and how you can do exactly the same even if you're starting from scratch. Now stay with me to the end of this video because we're going to cover how to pick a money-making niche, 2, how to design pins that actually get clicks, 3, my six-figure pinning strategy, and how to turn all that traffic into serious passive income online. No fluff, just the real stuff that actually works. Let's dive in. Now look, I'm not going to make all those claims without giving you proof. Let's go into my accounts now. So this is one of the accounts that I use primarily for ads on Pinterest. Let's go into the last year, look at the data from last year. So this is roughly the last 12 months. In this particular account, there's over $30,000 made in revenue. Of course, this account has affiliate income too, but we're just going to go in ad revenue for now. Also, let's go into one more account. This is the last year on this account. We'll just go back into it again so you can see. This one's around $18,000, $17,000, and you can see the RPMs and sessions there. And again, this one does have affiliate revenue too. Let's go into the third account. And on this account, as you can see here, through January 1st to December 31st, this account has already made in and around $38,000 to $40,000. These are the sessions and the RPMs here. So between the three, it's around $85,000 or $86,000. Plus, of course, affiliate income, email list of subscribers, and digital income. That's over 6 figures from these 3 different accounts, all using the power of Pinterest. Let me go into exactly how I've generated this income and how you can ethically steal the exact strategy right now. Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of this video. So I'm going to show you how to make 6 figures with Pinterest. I've already showed you my proof screens. I've showed you my proof income. You've seen that this works, and this is super beginner friendly if you follow the steps that I'm going to show you in this video, and if you see it through and are dedicated to this particular strategy. So the 4 steps I'm going to share with you today are on the screen now. So step 1 is to find a profitable niche. Okay, I'm going to go through that pretty much now. Step 2 is to create click-worthy pins. Okay, these need to be fantastic because there is more competition on Pinterest, but it also means that there's more eyeballs. That's why there's more competition, because there are so much more people entering Pinterest as a consumer, and we are going to take advantage of that increased visibility, and we're going to make some serious revenue, some serious money. Step 3 is the 6-figure pinning strategy. So once we know what pins are the best to create, I'm going to show you exactly how and when to create those, schedule those particular pins. And I'm going to give you my formula. So my pretty much tried and tested formula that I've been doing again and again in all of my accounts and my client accounts. So you can rinse and repeat and use the same strategy. And importantly, not make all the mistakes that I've made over the years I've been doing Pinterest. I'm going to give that and reveal that to you free. And lastly, step 4 is I'm going to show you how the best and most up-to-date ways to keep as much revenue as possible from Pinterest. And that's going to be dealing with different monetization methods, including affiliate marketing, email marketing, and also monetizing your blogs with ads revenue. So lots to go through in this video. I'm going to try and be clear and concise. Let's get into today's video. So step 1, picking a profitable niche. Okay, this is probably one of the most difficult steps. That is the one that people don't really talk about enough, because if you don't pick the correct niche from the outset, then more than likely you're not going to see a return on your time, and more than likely you're going to think that Pinterest doesn't work as a business model, which is definitely not true for me personally. And I'm going to show you the why if we pick the correct niche and follow the correct strategy. So you've joined me inside one of my case study accounts. Let's go over to the Business Hub here. These are all the different outlets and different options you can choose once you have a business account. If you haven't already got a Pinterest business account, definitely do that. I will leave a link below this video on exactly how to create a business account. But we're going to skip that process because I'm assuming you've probably done that already, or if not, feel free to check that video out. We have a business account here, and I'm going to go to Pinterest Trends. Now, I'm going to quickly put this here because I'm in the UK, but it's US that I'm targeting. Now, this is the mecca of Pinterest trends, analytics, and data that you can use for free. So this is where you're going to find all of the information that you need for Pinterest, and to find seasonal trends, to find evergreen trends, to find different interests, to find different keywords, and everything age-related or gender-related. So the first thing that I want you to do is probably just spend time in the growing trends area here and just understand what the actual keyword research looks like. So we're going to open some of these up right now. Just open up like the top, let's say the top 5 or 6 maybe. We'll do some of these just so you understand what it looks like. So these are the interests over time. As you can see, each keyword will have a kind of an ebb and a flow, a spike and a dip, depending on the seasonality of the keyword. Or you may get some evergreen keywords that I'll show you in a second. So this is what the trending tool looks like. It gives you some related trends here as well that you can plus and add into the actual graph here to make it overlay the information and just gives you more clarity. Let's keep it moving. So we have also demographic information here. We have this particular keyword is, as you can see, 90% female, which makes a ton of sense because it's around nails. Also a demographic around age. Now, it's super important to note these demographics down and also the seasonality down, because when you're creating the pins, if you know who it's for and when you're making it for, then you're definitely going to understand what to create on those pins, and that's going to match a more successful pinning strategy as you're pinning and as you're creating more pins over many, many months and many, many years to come. And the better you do this, the more income you're going to earn in a very simple, in a very simple way. That's how I can put it. So super important down here is you want to see the popular pins here. We'll click on some of these, and then for every single keyword, you're going to get these kind of very, very wide ranging Pinterest feed for each pinning image. So what I would recommend you do is scroll through all of these images here and then get a feel of this particular keyword. So this is a spring nails keyword. And as you can see, obviously it's all around spring nails, and you just get a feel of the colors, the pictures, the tones, and sometimes even the text. Because if you're going to replicate some of these pins, you need to understand your competition, okay? I would also open up a few of these, but I'm not going to do that now. Okay, so over to our next keyword. As you can see, this one spiked up over the end of the last year and the beginning of this year. This is a dating related, so relationship one. These are the demographics and agenda information. And then we're also going to open up some of these popular pins, okay? Now, I will probably go through around half an hour to an hour of research just on the most popular pins that are showing up in the feed on Pinterest trends, just to kind of understand, if I have never done this before, what Pinterest is trending right now. So I'll go through pretty much all these, and then I'll kind of make a note on some of the ones that I think are the most suitable for myself, maybe because I have more information or understanding of that particular niche area. Or maybe because I just think that the search volume by looking at the data is fantastic. So we'll look at also the top yearly trends too here. And we can take a look at some of the search volumes for every single keyword on a year-to-year basis. So in this part of the trending tool, this is like, again, the mecca, the holy grail, or whatever you want to call it. This is where I spend most of my time on the free tools that I use, because you can see, as you can see here, the search volumes here, you can sort it by weekly and monthly changes. So we'll do that now. So at the moment, there are some sunglasses niches that are doing quite well. Self-care, springs. There are some information on shoes and hairstyles. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you actually use some of these filters, you can see where the eyeballs are on Pinterest, and then choose a suitable niche instead of thinking and using maybe an area where you are the most familiar with, or something that you understand the most, and then trying to create a Pinterest account around that. I would 100% recommend that you find on the keyword tool, on the top yearly tools, maybe the top monthly tools, an area that has already enough search volume. So for example, let's go for easy dinner recipes. We can see there that data shows us that there are a evergreen and very high amount of search volume for dinner recipes and food in general. So if you was looking to get into the food niche, this is how you would find, and this is how you would prove your theory that on Pinterest there is more than enough information, more than enough eyeballs, and you can, again, go through each particular pin, map out what's working and what's not working, and then have a really good understanding of what is trending and what is the correct niche to pick on Pinterest, as opposed to just picking it however you feel. So let us assume that we are all in on food. We think that, and we've done the research to check that the search volume for food makes a ton of sense. We've gone through some of the popular posts to understand what the main keywords are. And we've looked at our trending tool to understand where the peaks and pivots of this particular niche is. Step 2 is to check out some of these very cool little bubbles at the top here, which give you an indication of what's doing very well currently on Pinterest for this particular keyword. So we will put in on the bubbles here. It will change the keyword at the top, and then it will just also alter the feed for that particular keyword. So as you can see now, these particular easy dinner recipes are more family orientated. And again, we at this particular time, we're just kind of understanding what's working and what's not working in the top feed. And we're going to take a look at the pins themselves for our step 2 to understand how and also what kind of colors and fonts to make for our pins. So we have successfully navigated through step 1. Okay, we've found a profitable niche. We know it's profitable because it has a ton of eyeballs and search volume. And we've also, let's say, gone into many of those keywords. So gone back into the trending tool, for example. We've got it into interests and food. And now we've narrowed down some of the yearly trends. So we can see here chicken recipes, healthy dinner recipes, ground beef recipes, for example. These are our evergreen keywords. So we have to take a note of maybe like 10 to 20 of these keywords. Banana bread recipes, for example. So we know that if we create those pins, we're going to definitely see search volume hitting our pins, because there is more than enough eyeballs already there. And then also for growing trends, so for seasonal trends, for example, you can hit growing trends or seasonal trends, and then you'll find this is in the last 30 days. So this is usually just happened. So I'd probably recommend you go to growing trends. And then once you're in here, take again the 20 or so keywords from the growing trends. So you have a lovely mix of evergreen keywords from the trending tool and also seasonal keywords from the trending tool, specifically in the niche that you've picked up. So for us, we're doing food or recipes, should I say. And now you've got this kind of 40 to 50 range of list of keywords that you're super happy to create information in the blog posts on. And then we're going to go into step 2. Now, step 2 is just as important as step 1. To be honest, all of the steps are just as important as each other. So follow very, very strategically this video if you want to see and understand how I've managed to grow my accounts to almost $100,000 from just one revenue source, and then obviously more from another revenue source. So step 2 is to create click-worthy pins. Now I'm gonna give you some information on what to look for, how to make them, and some really cool free AI, well, not free, but almost free AI tools that I use. There are free stuff that you can use. I prefer to use a few very, very affordable paid and premium tools to make and shortcut the process. Let's go into that now. So we're back in the recipe niche, and we're looking at some of these examples. As you can see, there's some really, really cool looking tasty casserole keyword dishes here. You can scroll down and see lots of more examples here. And the most important part here is, again, open up some of your customers, open up some of your competitors, and get a look and a feel of what the niche and the keyword should look like. Okay, so these are the highest pins on the home feed, so we know they're getting lots of traction. And there are actually tools that you can use by plugging in this particular pin URL to find out how much traffic it's getting, but we won't go into that right now. But anyhow, so let's say we are looking to, again, we're going to target recipes, we're going to target healthy weeknight dinner ideas, or generally dinner ideas for family. We've already know that and seen that it works, so now we're going to create some pins. The best way, and I would recommend probably the cheapest way, or the free way, to create pins on Pinterest is to use Canva. Canva's been around for many years, probably over a decade now. And there are some really affordable and also free, many free pinning templates you can use. Just by changing the search icons and keywords at the top, you can find out different recipe pins, and you can use whichever one that you think is the most suitable. As you can see, there are some premium ones here, but we're going to go with a free one for now. That I think kind of makes sense. We'll hit this one. We'll hit customize. Awesome, quick break. If you are enjoying the video content, please subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Plus it shows that you care about the content of the channel. And also it's an indication for me, because I'll continue to make these videos and share pretty much everything I know for free. If that makes sense for you, please subscribe. Let's carry on. And now we're in. Okay, so this is the customizable template we can use just on Pinterest. There's lots of design elements and texts that we can add in here. We can either keep it simple or we can change it fundamentally. It's really up to us. And what I'm going to do is grab on to our keyword, which I believe was easy dinner family recipe ideas, or easy dinner recipes for family. We're going to go back in here and we're going to change over some of these templates. So there we are. That looks basic, but it will do. We can also change the number. Let's say we're going to do, and most importantly, we're going to change the images at the back. Now, of course, you can spend as much or as little time as you want on this particular part. I would recommend you spend as much time as possible, because if you get this right, then usually people are going to click through to your blog post or to your website a lot more frequently, and they're going to spend more time on page if the images are fantastic and they are illustrating and they are matching the search intent. So the best thing to do is to find realistic images. So one of the tools that I use, again, free tools that you can use, is this one. So this is a royalty-free stock image company that I use frequently. We're going to type in dinner recipes, hit enter, and I'm going to grab some of these images to put in. Okay. So for example, I like this one. Also, I like this one. That one works quite well. And I'll also grab a few more, okay? And we're going to come back here and we're going to change these images very quickly. As you can see, this is what it looks like. Now, I'm not in love with this, but the point is I want to show you how it's easy to do on Canva. It's free to use on Canva, and you have thousands and thousands of different templates that we can use and directly mimic some of our competition. Although from my opinion, some of these texts do look way better, so they are more eye-catching. So let me share a tool with you that I use that makes this entire process a lot simpler, a lot faster, and look as good as, if not probably better than, your competition. So this is a very affordable content generation tool that I use. Super simple to use. I'm going to show you how I manage the particular pins and how you too can probably utilize this tool. I'll leave a link below this video. It's very affordable. I'll get like a tiny kickback if you sign up, but definitely click the link below this video if you want to check the tool out. Let me show you how I would use the tool now. So I'll go into pin generator here on the left hand side, and I will type in the pin text. So let's grab the pin text from before, which is easy family dinner recipes. pop back into the tool here. We're going to add in the name here, and we're also going to, sorry, we're going to add in the name here, and we're also going to type in the amount of recipes we're going to include in our blog. So let's say we had a blog post and there was 15 or so recipes. We're going to type in 15. We can add our domain name in here, something like that, in terms of our domain name. Then we're going to type in the number of pins here. So we're going to grab maybe 2. We're going to type in auto for now, and we're going to take a look at what the pin generator prompts us. Now remember, we're trying to beat our competition, okay? And our competition looks something like this. So this needs to be something that is similar to the easy dinner recipes that we've seen here, but either looks better than it or has a feel whereby someone that's scrolling through these type of pins, ours are going to stand out. So it needs to be eye-catching, it needs to have the right colors and text. And usually when you're utilizing AI tools, you can pretty much tell it to anything in terms of so we can add in the additional prompts here and say something along the lines of make sure that the images are vibrant, they include images of dishes, the right colors, they got browns and whites, etc. in the title and text. So let's see what it comes up with so far. So these are the first generations that it's done. The style is auto. We're going to go to we'll go to John style and we'll click generate again. Now these will work usually really well if you're trying to test out different variety of pins, but if we go back to our competition and we look at the pins that are doing well, very rarely are they just text based. So we want to mimic our competition and make sure there's images in our text, because as you can see, we have a really good understanding of what's working well for this particular keyword by just looking at the feed. So these are so to mimic these pins is really what we were trying to achieve. Okay, so I've played with the startup, I've added in general here, and now I still like the look of these. I still think there needs to be more images, so let's type in something into the image prompt here. So add in a collage of 4 images that are directly related to dinner recipes. We'll try that. We'll leave it as general, and we'll hit generate again. Okay, now we're starting to kind of get more closer to the images that we are seeing for our competition. Okay, I'll do like these. Okay, now so I've changed the prompt ever so slightly. I've said make the font punchier and overlay the images directly in the middle. So again, we're still getting closer to what I try to find in terms of something that looks better than our competition. Let's add in one more kind of text into the font let's add in one more image prompt to make it a no-brainer. Okay, cool. So we are getting a lot closer now. I really like this one. This is really cool. It looks a lot more closer, and this one actually closer to our competition. Let's play with one more style type here. So let's go with general and click generate. Now, of course, remember these do take credits, so bear that in mind. But again, if you think about how much you're going to save in terms of time, the credit costs to create these pins that look pretty awesome, if I'm being honest, considering we aren't spending much time at all. Each pin usually takes about 10 to 15 seconds to create. It's definitely worth it. Okay, so these are finally done. As you can see, again, we are getting way closer to what I would see as better than competition, or at the very least on the same path and the same levels as competition, especially this one, nice and bold, and this one here. As you can see, the images of the food look fantastic. Now this is for just one keyword. This tool has taken probably 2 to 3 minutes maybe to generate all these particular pins. We've saved a ton of time and effort, and especially these two with our extra prompt that I put in here. Of course, you can add in any prompt that you want that is specific for your particular niche. But the point is, we have pin busting, eyeball catching pins made for us in a matter of seconds, and we can utilize AI in a smart way, in a strategic way, to save time and definitely generate more eyeballs, which means more revenue in the long run. So those are the 2 ways that I would recommend that you create pins, either manually with a tool like Canva for free, or you can use a paid tool. There are other paid tools, but that's the one. The Content Goblin is the one that I use. Remember, if you're interested, feel free to check the link out below this video. I would definitely recommend it. It saves a ton of time. Let's go into step 3 now. So we've done step 1 and 2, okay, super important. And as I mentioned before, every single step is as important as each other. We've created click-worthy pins. You've seen that and how to create those so far in this video. Now I'm going to talk about step 3, which is the 6-figure pinning strategy. Now this is probably, again, every single step is important, but this is one of the most important for me because everyone has their own different pinning strategy. And I'm going to share with you the one that is responsible for those screenshots you saw and those videos that you saw and the proof and income that you saw, which is only some of my income actually. As you can imagine, I make income from a variety of different sources from Pinterest, but this is what I do on every single account to get it up to 6 figures almost every single time. So let me copy and paste from my document exactly how I do this, okay? And I'm going to go through every single point with you, so don't feel overwhelmed, but for sure take some notes if you need to. So this is step 3, the 6-figure pinning strategy. So there is 3 months that I would recommend that you take the most action, because if you do this correctly in month 1 to 3, that's when you're going to see the kind of upward trend and spike for impressions and outbound clicks and also engagement. Now, month one, I'd recommend that you pin 5 to 8 times per day. Let me actually make that a highlight because that's super important. We'll underline it for now. If you do more than that, you can potentially run the risk of the account being flagged in the algorithm, which potentially could be spammy, or there could be other filter or something else penalized on the account. I would recommend 5 is a very good starting point. Again, as I mentioned, you can do more if you're comfortable, but this is where I kind of gauge my accounts between 5 to 8 pins for the first month in month one. Now, month two is kind of the scaling time. So in month two, I'm going to scale the pins up ever so slightly. I'm going to increase it to around 8 to 10 pins per day. Of course, I'm going to check what's working, but most importantly, we need the first 6 to 8 weeks just for data purposes. So don't get too bogged down in making sure that everything is fantastic and all of your blog posts are fantastic and all of your pins are fantastic. When you spend time in anything, you're generally going to get better. But for the first 2 months, so 6 to 8 weeks, you want to make sure that you have a strategy every single day that you're pinning, again, 5 to 8 for the first month and 8 to 10 for the second month. That's roughly what I would kind of start with those first 2 months. Now, month three is generally where things go viral. So what happens is I've got the data of month one and month two. I know what's working. I know what graphics work. I know what keywords work. I know what call to actions work. And then I narrow down and double down on what works. And by month three, everything's ranked for month one and month two almost. And I'm seeing this really, really high uptake. And it's kind of a really, really good time because you are able to scale your pins as well. Your impressions and outbounds and clicks have already scaled. So it's kind of a win-win on both sides. Now, super important, it's not about spamming. I actually like put that in big. It's not about spamming, okay? There is techniques you can use to spam Pinterest, and that's not what I would recommend you do. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'd recommend that you build something for the long term. And if you follow the best practices, but also harness AI in a smart and efficient way and affordable way, that's where you kind of win, in my opinion, with the strategy for Pinterest to ensure that it's around for months, years, potentially decades to come. It's about consistency, super important, and making sure that you have keyword-rich pins that train the Pinterest algorithm to trust your content. Like, that literally is the most important thing, okay? Now, they trust your content. Now, remember, the trust process isn't a manual one, okay? Trust is based on your engagements, okay? So people that are saving it, people that are commenting on it, people that are repinning it, for example. So if people are trusting your content, Pinterest sees that as the most important factor. They care about that amongst everything else, because if someone does all those things, then it shows to Pinterest that they care about your content and you are doing the things that you say you're going to do. Therefore, Pinterest trusts you, okay? Super, super important. If you can make that distinction in today's video to make sure that people on Pinterest trust your content and take nothing else away, that will be the most important part. And of course, you've got the general Pinterest SEO. You can kind of get this from any video, but pin titles, descriptions, and overlays, and board names, they need to be SEO friendly. So put the keyword in each of those. And treat each pin like a mini blog post. Now, for the first 2 to 3 months, you want to be checking your analytics weekly. Probably the month 2 is the most important because it takes around 4 to 6 weeks for pins to actually trend up and rank within Pinterest algorithm itself. So weekly check-in of your analytics is essential because you want to see what's working and what's not working, and then iterate on the things that are. So for example, you want to be looking at your top performing pins, your boards, and your click-through rates and saves and impressions, and just understand why things are working and why things aren't working. Now remember, this is not personal. You may have the best pin in the world because you spent 3 hours creating the pin. You love the content, you love the subject matter. You spent, 3 days creating the blog post. But realistically, Pinterest does not care about how much time you spent. They care about the engagement levels, and they care about what is working best for your account, for them, for their users. Okay, again, another super important point is every Pinterest account is 100% unique. So this is why I can probably share so much with you, because I can literally give you my exact strategy. I can give you the same niche. I can give you the same keywords. You can even have the same blog post. But the truth is, Pinterest will rank every single account differently. So don't be bogged down by competition. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, that's probably a good thing because we can see what's working and what's not working. And it just makes smart moves to position our account in the what's working category. So for sure, that means we're testing and tweaking all the time. And the last part of the strategy is if it's working, double down on what's working. If it's not, then swap it out, okay? Keep what's working, remove what's not working. This is how you build hundreds and thousands of impressions and outbound clicks every single month. And this is how you build 6 figures with Pinterest over a year, because you're following what Pinterest is favoring and you're doing more of it. So let's get into step 4, which is revenue and monetization. Now, this is, again, the most important part. They're pretty much all the most important part. But of course, if you aren't signed up to the most strategic revenue sources, revenue streams, and affiliate accounts, then you're not going to make much of an impact when it comes to revenue. So you need to make sure that you position the site to earn as much money as possible, pretty much as fast as possible. So this is what I'm going to talk about in the last part of the video, just understanding where the revenue comes from. So let's pop into one of the blog posts now. So this is my case study account. Let's go into the blog here. We'll pop onto one of the posts here. Now, this particular account is primarily monetized by ads. So as you can see, there's ads throughout the content. There's ads also, but there's an email box there as well. There's ads at the bottom. There'll be ads at the side. I think 80 to 85% of the traffic for this particular site is on mobile. So this is how it's going to roughly look on mobile. And as you can see from Pinterest, this is a nice, very, very seamless transition between the two. So obviously, of course, Pinterest just is image heavy. People are going to be looking at the post. They're going to be kind of going through the post and looking at the images. And super important, you want to make sure there's a Pinterest button on your blog, because people can save the images back onto Pinterest, and you can actually get more traffic from that. Okay, so that's a top tip. Make sure that you put add a plugin. I'll add maybe the plugin that I use below, because people will save these images back onto Pinterest, which will actually naturally give you more organic traffic to your post, which is a no-brainer. Okay, so ads is one of the simplest ones. As you can see here, I do have an email box as well, and I'll touch on that in a second. The majority of the revenue that I showed you at the beginning of this video was from advertising revenue. That was actually all from advertising revenue. That was my advertising account. There are also affiliate accounts that I have. I also have an email list sign up for some of my websites, and smartly I also have digital products, if it makes sense. Okay, so I wouldn't get too bogged down into having them all. Let's break them down step by step. So first off, the biggest advertising accounts right now are Mediavine, Raptive, and Grow, which I think between the three of them will accept almost any website. So we'll pop over to Mediavine now. Just to take a look at what it looks like. This, as it mentions, is a full service ad management platform. I find it's a really fantastic in between having a new growing blog and being accepted on there, which I think is around 50,000 page views per month, or 50,000 sessions, and also growing your blog and your business with them. They're very, very good for support. Their RPMs are some of the best in the industry. And generally, the actual platform itself and the dashboard is fantastic. Plus, they have a Facebook support group, which I think is pretty cool. The next one on the list is Raptive. Again, this one I think is at 100,000 page views per month. I've only worked with them once or twice. I prefer Mediavine. But again, pretty much similar to Mediavine. Sometimes can be slightly higher in terms of the RPMs. So you're making more per impression than you would on Mediavine. Sometimes it depends. But generally, they have and offer the similar type of things that Mediavine would offer. And last but definitely not least is Journey by Mediavine. So again, back to Mediavine again. I think it will be useful for anyone that's watching this video if they have a new account or they have an existing account and it's below the 50,000 sessions monthly threshold, then to apply with Journey by Mediavine. Almost everything that's very, very similar. But most importantly for you is they will accept a website that has only 1,000 sessions per month. Okay, so which is pretty much everyone. Once you get to 1,000 plus, you can apply and then go through the onboarding process with them separately. Now, one thing I would say is the advertising revenue side of things is a no-brainer for almost every single website, because the biggest websites have ads on them, the smallest website have ads on them, and generally the internet is run by an advertisement per impression, so you get to read the information for free, and then of course the advertisers are going to pay you for every single impression. Now next, and just as important, of course it's slightly niche specific because there are some niches where there aren't as many affiliate products, but generally anything that is on Pinterest will have an affiliate program, and usually Amazon will be the first place you'll start. And this is what the Amazon Associate screen looks like. You may or may not have seen the screen before, but in a nutshell, it is giving you the widest affiliate product selection online. And also joining up with Amazon is almost seamless, very, very simple to do. And as I mentioned, you're going to have products in pretty much every single niche that you can think of on Pinterest. So for sure, definitely sign up with Amazon, even if you don't know specifically how to add those links into your post yet. Get yourself sorted, get your Amazon account approved, and then you can make those adjustments as you're moving forward. Now, of course, Amazon isn't the only one. Another program that I work with quite frequently is Impact. Again, similar to Amazon, sometimes has a different variety of stores and brands they work with. And also sometimes because it's not Amazon, you're not going to have as many products to affiliate to, but definitely worth signing up to them and starting the onboarding process, especially if you're in a niche that has a lot of products that are physical. So those two are the main monetization options. Those are the ones that I'd recommend you start off with. When you have a successful and growing blog, so anything above 20, 30, 40, 50,000 sessions plus, I would recommend you importing or integrating some type of email list provider. I'm not going to give you little details about email list now because that will take the rest of this video plus some more. But for sure, I'd say pretty much every single email software has affordable prices. I currently use Aweber, but there's MailChimp, there's GetResponse, there's probably about 100 or so different email marketing softwares you can use. Pick one, find one that works for you, and incorporate it into your site to grab as many emails as you can, because once you have that, you're able to promote your offers and have a connection with your subscribers over and over again. And side note, before I started this business, I was in the email marketing business and I made just as much money from that business as I did this one. So I would definitely recommend it. If you want to get some more information about that, leave a comment below and I'll answer that. Now briefly, I'll touch on digital products. This is probably the last step you'll need, and it may not work for every niche, but generally you can have a digital product in your general business, and it's something to think about moving forward. But I do think for the majority of people, 80 to 85% of people, ads and affiliate will be the main monetization streams for Pinterest that you'll need. So look, this has been generally a quite detailed video. I hope you've got some value from it. And as you've seen at the beginning, this is how I've generated significant income on a month-to-month basis, and how as long as you start and follow the advice from this video strategically and start to grow month to month, you have all the building blocks available to you to do pretty much exactly the same. Now, I hope that's made a lot of sense. It's been a bit of a detailed video. As you can see, the strategies work, as I've shown in this video. If you want to take your Pinterest campaigns to the next level, I do have an agency, but more specifically, I have a coaching service that you can see, and I'll leave the links below this video. The coaching service is extremely affordable, and it's on a month-to-month basis, so there's nothing locked in, where you get access to me firsthand, and I can specifically go into your campaigns and do this entire strategy, but on a very detailed basis to ensure and kind of guarantee that you see success across your Pinterest campaigns. I can even help you with keyword research. I can help you with optimizations. I can help you with pins. If that's interesting and if you've got value from this video, I'll leave a link below this video. As I mentioned, it's super affordable. But that's pretty much it from this video. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment sections below this video, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.